Okay, so our first topic of this series is the destruction of the East Wing at the White House. I personally find it disgusting, appalling, just, it's a calamity. It is, there's no reasoning for it. There's nothing right about it. I don't care if it's privately funded. I could care less about that. Look around you in this country and the economic crisis we are in. And we have a president that has to put his stamp on something as horrendous as this. Let me share this article with you. I'm going to try to anyway. We're going to see if it works. Share screen. Now, I don't know if I can actually play this article for you, but you can go and read it. Okay? All right, y'all. So apparently there is a multiple decades old legislation, but apparently Trump can actually bypass any legislative body and does not need any kind of approval from anyone to tear down a structure with such history as the White House. The East Wing is one of the most historic parts of the White House. And what is happening right now is just incomprehensible to me. I just don't get it. I really think that is atrocious. It looks like we come to the point, y'all, of who is paying for Trump's $250 million ballroom, which has now been estimated to have gone up to $300 million. I'm going to say this. If you really truly believe that no taxpayer money is going into this, then you are living in a false reality. All the lies and the bullshit, come on. Now, if it is going to be privately funded, if you are believing that these people that are going to privately fund this are not getting anything in return, you're living in a false reality there too. Let's share a page. All right, so here we are, and you can go look this up yourself. I'm sharing everything that I am researching. Who is paying for Trump's $250 million ballroom, and why the hell do we even need one? And what they might get in return. President Donald Trump has made it clear that he wants the legacy he leaves in the White House to be one of renovation. He began making changes to the historic building immediately upon entering office. And let's pause right there, considering the economics of our country. Why do we need to make changes to a historic building that does not even need changes? In fact, nothing of it needs to be torn down. And we certainly don't need a damn ballroom. And we don't need it for the wealthiest individuals in the nation. This is going to be over 90,000 square feet. He wants to use it for entertaining. He wants to use it to look big and bad. We don't need this. This is a waste of time, resources, and money. I'll tell you something, Mr. President. Why don't you take this time to go privately fund housing for the homeless in this country? The crisis that we have consistently been having. How about you do that instead of trying to build something to leave a legacy? But these are the supposed individual donors. YouTube is involved. Of the 24.5 million to be paid in the settlement, it specifies that 22 million will go toward the development of the White House ballroom. Why not all? Why not all of it? You can definitely finish reading that article on your own. It's unbiased and very clear. I hope that this will open your eyes to some things that are happening. And let's move on. All right, you guys, I want to be really, really clear about one thing that I am discovering with this White House ballroom. He is the only president in history who has ever done something so dramatic ever. And he just gloats about it. There have been recordings of him at the European Union meeting where he is trying to cut a deal there. And he's just boasting about his ballroom at Mar-a-Lago. You know, who cares? And why are you even talking about that? You know, aren't there more pressing matters to discuss? But he is the only president in history who has done something so, just like I said, so dramatic and just out of proportion. So in that respect, let's show you this article. All right. So the West Wing was created back in 1902, which it was definitely needed by President Theodore Roosevelt. But it was completed under the former President Taft. So the West Wing was used to be the central office for the commander-in-chief and his most closest advisors and workers that he needed access to. And initially it was called the Roosevelt Room. So that was something that was a good thing for the White House, right? 1933, Franklin D. Roosevelt added 25,000 feet more of permanent office space to the West Wing. And that was needed so that they could all be in a certain area working separate from the living area. That's great. That's wonderful. And then, let's see, y'all can read this article. In 1948, Truman had to have total renovations for the structure of the whole White House because it was deemed unsafe. So that was a crucial, integral part of protecting a historical landmark. And nothing was changed. They just rebuilt like the beams and everything to hold it together. And he even asked Congress, you know, in 1949, he asked Congress to create the Commission on Renovation. Okay, y'all, I could go on and on and on about this. Like, I could throw out historical facts. There's all kinds of things I could give you. But I feel like it's up to each American individual to do their research. Now, I understand that a lot of people aren't going to do it. And that is the problem today, that people go on hearsay. They go on what they see on Fox News or CNN or what have you. They don't research. They don't know what they're doing. They don't know what they're talking about. And I think that is why everything today is so bad, worse than it's ever been, ever in my life. And I'm 53, going to be 54 in a few months. Worst I've ever seen anything. Like, it's just crazy bad. This is off the cuff here. I was reading an article today. He's cutting all ties for trade with Canada. Canada is our closest ally and friend. What the hell? What are you doing, Trump? These tariffs aren't working. None of this is working. Government shutdown, nobody's solving it. There's going to be millions of people that don't get to have Thanksgiving this year. Do you all understand that? There are higher priorities than a ballroom. And I'm pissed. I'm getting really angry. I'm sick of this. And we're not even a year into this shit. You are moving into something you don't want to move into. Do your research. This country is going to Nazism. Do your research. Read about the brown shirt men back in Hitler times and ICE today. Do your research. Because I don't want people that... Listen, I don't want to see people coming and being like that supported Trump all this time. And then when it gets really, really ugly and bad, oh God, we just didn't know. If you do your research, you will know. You'll know what's happening. Or maybe you want it that way. Maybe I don't know. I'll leave it at that. I'm getting angry. I'm going to end it. Y'all, please. It is time to come together as a country and stop this mayhem. Mayhem, however you want to pronounce it. When it comes to people being homeless and being hungry versus a ballroom, and you want to sit there and talk about, well, it's being privately funded. That privately funded money could solve a lot of problems in this country, you dumbass. But there again, the rich want what they want, right? Wake up. Wake up, people.